Today, District Attorney Carrie Brandenburg filed murder charges against the two police officers who shot and killed homeless camper James Boyd. It is the first time she has ever charged officers in shootings. News 13's Chris McKee has been following this case from the beginning and questioned the DA today about her decision. Chris?
Yeah, Kim, Carrie Brandenburg said today she hasn't felt any additional pressure to prosecute officers because of the Department of Justice's recent investigation into the Albuquerque Police Department. However, she did say that this shooting, the shooting of James Boyd, is different, far different from any other case that APD has been involved in.
What makes this case criminal?
Well, what makes this case criminal are some of the facts that will come out at the prelim. I don't want to get into the facts. I don't want to do anything that would jeopardize the integrity of this case. I think that after the prelim is over, you will understand clearly what some of those facts are. Who knows what their day is going to be.
Brandenburg wouldn't offer any other specifics about why she thinks officers Dominique Perez and Keith Sandy should be charged. Both are now facing open counts of murder. Sandy and Perez shot and killed James Boyd as he turned his back towards them during an hours-long standoff last March. Boyd had been illegally camping in the Albuquerque foothills and pulled two small knives on officers. He was a paranoid schizophrenic. The shooting sparked citywide protests and an FBI investigation. Brandenburg's office filed the paperwork to charge the two officers today. She says the decision to charge was based solely on information that came from APD's investigation. Brandenburg says she and her staff made the decision together and says they struggled to come to it.
We want to make sure that it's not politics, it's not public opinion, and we want to make sure, I think that I'm surrounded by people that are as concerned as I am about going home and being able to look at myself in the mirror.
Now, up next will be a preliminary hearing. A judge will make a decision about if there is enough evidence to take Sandy and Perez to trial. If there is, that's when both officers would be arrested and booked at that time into jail. Kim, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. A preliminary hearing will be held to decide if there is enough evidence to take this case to trial. A preliminary hearing is different from a grand jury in that, one, it allows the evidence to be presented in open court, attended by the public. It also allows both sides to present their cases instead of just prosecutors, and it will be a judge alone who will decide if the evidence substantiates a charge, not a jury of citizens. Now, if the judge does decide there's enough evidence of a crime to take it to trial, he has another decision to make. What type of charge will the officers face? It could be anything from involuntary manslaughter, which means a person killed someone by carelessness or negligence. That carries a possible 18-month sentence. Another option, voluntary manslaughter, which carries 6 years. Second-degree murder with a possible 15-year sentence. And at the top, first-degree murder, which carries a life sentence. That one requires proof of premeditation and intent. Now, the judge could also decide to allow the jurors to deliberate the entire range of charges during a trial. Now, the mayor also reacted today to the charges, saying, quote, "We trust the judicial system will provide the family, our community, and the officers a fair, transparent, and unbiased opportunity to explore and present the facts as they relate to this tragic event. It is important for all of us to allow the process to progress without prejudice in order for our community to move forward." We also spoke with the executive director of the American Civil Liberties Union about today's decision. He told us it's heartening to know our city is taking these issues seriously and can no longer ignore the use of excessive force against people in the community.
It's highly unusual that we finally have criminal charges being brought in a police case like this after literally decades of no such charges ever being filed.
He says one of the reasons a police officer hasn't been charged in such a long time is because the Justice Department here and nationwide tends to treat police officers differently. And the Boyd case is one of the cases cited in the Department of Justice investigation calling for major change within APD. The city later signed a deal outlining the changes. It included the hiring of a federal monitor by January 9th to oversee the process. We wanted to know if that's happened. Well, we found there has been a delay in that case. Federal documents show the police union and the group APD Forward, who's led the charge in reforming the department, want to join that settlement. A hearing is scheduled for later this month to decide if that will be allowed. Until that is resolved, a federal monitor will not be chosen. We continue to work all angles of this story today. We will have complete team coverage coming up on News 13 at 5:30. Our reporters are speaking to the families of shooting victims and looking into how rare a murder charge for an officer really is.